God's harsh and angry and rude, mean, destructive in the Old Testament, but loving in the New Testament.
Yeah. Classic. Actually, a funny story about a friend of mine who was actually a juror in a trial, a really bad trial in Louisiana, and friend was a pastor. His friend Brady was a pastor at the time. I think youth pastor at the time. Maybe they were calling jurors, like booting jurors, talking to him, asking questions. He got to the first round. He's in the second round, and basically the lawyer asked him like, well, you're a pastor. You just believe in love and kindness and not judging people, right? So, like, why would you want to be a part of this? And I'm like, well, Brady's responsible. I believe God's got righteous judgment. And the lawyer's response, oh, you believe in that Old Testament God. Just think of Louisiana, central Louisiana,
Old
Testament God.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, he's a big old dude wearing like a suit. That's
And when he say,
small.
"Oh, you believe in that?"
Right. That's what I pictured in my head. That's probably not the case.
Yeah.
That's what I pictured in my head when he told me that story. God is perfectly loving and perfectly just. He's proven that both in New Testament and Old Testament. Jesus, man, you read Matthew 23, 24. Jesus has things that are so offensive to say to Pharisees in judgment over them. Like, so offensive. Calling them whitewashed tombs and a bunch of vipers. Like if you heard that in a sermon, like on a Sunday morning, you just congregation, you're a bunch of snakes. You're a bunch of snakes around here. Everybody just get insanely angry. So stop judging me. All this stuff. Like, Jesus very clearly passed judgment. There's stories in the book of Acts about, him killing people. The Lord killing people. Ananias and Sapphira. There's a passage in 1 Corinthians about the Lord's Supper, about people taking the Lord's Supper in an unworthy manner. And Paul says that this is why some of you have fallen asleep, which is a euphemism for dying. He's basically saying, you guys took this church, Corinth, took the Lord's Supper in an unworthy manner, so God killed them, is what he's claiming. I'm like, one, I don't have access to that kind of truth. I'm looking at my congregation, oh, you took that in an unworthy manner, God's going to kill you. Like, I don't get to do that. To say that God is not a good judge in the New Testament is to misunderstand the New Testament.